This thing is a piece of plastic, but somehow LEGO turned it into one of the most detailed Star Wars collectibles ever made. Out of 1,500 Star Wars minifigures LEGO has ever released, these are the ones under $40 that actually deserve a spot in your collection. Best looking, most unique, hardest to find.
General Kenobi.
We're ranking them worst to first, and the one sitting at number 1, nobody talks about it. Let's fix that. Kicking things off is Crosshair, one of the coolest characters from the Bad Batch. Like the rest of his squad, he was resistant to his chip because of his mutation. But when Order 66 hit, his chip fully activated and he flipped, hard enough to turn on his own brothers without hesitation. His minifigure dropped in 2021 and the Prince and Green Visor are spot on to the show. Only downside, no antenna since LEGO wasn't drilling helmet holes back then. Still a great fig to start the list with. Stepping up from there, Grand Moff Tarkin, one of the Empire's most feared commanders and the man who personally oversaw the Death Star. You know the station that did this to Alderaan? LEGO finally gave us an accurate version of this guy and they didn't hold back. The uniform and faceprint are some of the sharpest we've ever seen on an Imperial officer fig. Long overdue, but worth the wait. Staying in Imperial territory, Admiral Yularen, a man who served from the Republic all the way to the Galactic Empire until the Death Star sorted that out. LEGO finally released him in his Republic uniform only 23 years in. Better late than never, and at least they gave him dual molded legs. If they hadn't, I'm not sure what the point would have been. Shifting gears completely, Asajj Ventress, one of the most ruthless characters in the Clone Wars. But what makes her interesting isn't just the brutality, it's the redemption arc that follows. She's one of the most complex, well-developed characters in the entire animated series, and her minifigure reflects that intensity well. It also comes with a unique skirt cloth. Now I know what you're thinking, Boba Fett on a list like this feels almost too obvious, but hear me out, because this specific variant earns it. First, a fun fact most people don't know, that armor was never meant for Boba Fett at all. It was originally designed for super stormtroopers, but budget constraints forced a redesign and an icon was born. His classic look is already legendary, but the print detail on this particular minifigure is just fantastic. Look at it closely, it earns the spot. From the iconic character to another, Han Solo in his Imperial Mud Trooper uniform from Solo: A Star Wars Story. And here's one most people forget. Han actually joined the Galactic Empire thinking it was his ticket off Corellia. Most Han Solo figs look exactly the same, so seeing something this distinct is generally refreshing. And that Mim and Cape detail, outstanding. One of the most underappreciated Han variants LEGO has ever made.
I am the Senate.
Now 6 different Palpatine minifigures exist. Most of them are mid. This is the one that actually got it right. This is his outfit from the moment he goes full Sith Lord in the Chancellor's office, one of the best seen in the entire saga. The legs are plain, sure, but the head detailing completely carries this one, and honestly, you forget about the legs within 2 seconds. Best LEGO has ever done for this character, no competition.
A Sith Lord?
From the same set, Anakin, and the fact that this figure came out in 2012 is genuinely impressive. One of the best Anakin minifigure ever made. The only version I'd argue tops it is the Dual and Mustafar variant. 2 elite Anakin figs from completely different eras. LEGO got lucky twice on this one. Switching things up, BD-1, Cal Kestis' loyal droid companion from Jedi Fallen Order. And yes, I've been publicly clowned for not knowing who Cal Kestis was when LEGO dropped the Imperial Star Destroyer in 2024. This set will include 7 minifigures, one of them being a special 25th anniversary Cal Kestis. No clue who that is, so I don't really like their choice of exclusive minifigure, especially for a $160 set. Either way, I'm still super happy that this set is coming out, as the price of the older Imperial Star Destroyer was getting out of hand. Anyway, for such a small fig, the detail is genuinely impressive. LEGO cared enough to create an entirely new mold for it. That kind of commitment for that figure this size says everything. Back to the troopers, the Special Forces Clone Trooper. And here's a fun piece of LEGO history. This character was actually invented by LEGO in collaboration with Lucasfilm for the Yoda Chronicles. Doesn't exist anywhere else in canon. Already a solid fig on its own, but that Pauldron takes it to another level. Small addition, massive impact. Sticking with the clones, the Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenants. And if you look closely at Attack of the Clones, you can actually spot these guys as background characters. 2 versions were released, but this one wins on printed legs alone. LEGO even added 4 blue dots on the left side of the chest to match the films as closely as possible. For a 2013 minifigure, it was way ahead of its time. Now here's one most people completely sleep on, Imperial Transport Pilot Athex. Did you know this guy was actually a Rebel Alliance spy undercover as an Imperial pilot? I had no idea until I dug into the Star Wars secrets. Knights of the Empire, which is where the character was invented. A genuine LEGO Easter egg hiding in plain sight. He shares a mold with the Imperial hover tank pilot, but the prints are significantly better. Easy to overlook, hard to put down once you know the story. Moving into the sequels for a moment, Captain Phasma with a pointed mouth pattern. And honestly, this character was one of the biggest missed opportunities in the entire sequel trilogy. No arc, no real payoff, could have been cut completely and nothing would have changed. But the minifigure? Actually quite accurate, especially with that cloth cape. LEGO did better by her than the movies did. Max Rebo, a legend, an enigma. Was he supposed to look like an elephant? Nobody knows. What I do know is that the head mold is so good that LEGO released him in the original Jabba sail barge in 2013 and brought him back for the UCS version over a decade later. That's not a coincidence. That's a masterpiece. And here's one that genuinely surprises me every time, Stas Sally. She's only been released once in Star Wars history, which either means LEGO nailed it so completely they never felt the need to revisit her, or she just doesn't get the respect she deserves. Probably both. For a 2013 minifigure, the head printing and hair hold up better than the minifigures released 5 years later. The detail is quietly excellent. It doesn't slap you in the face, it earns it. I'm honestly shocked the secondary market hasn't caught up to how good this figure actually is. Still on the underrated side of things, Jack 14 in a Stormtrooper helmet. And quick background for anyone unfamiliar, Jack 14 is a LEGO original, a Force-sensitive clone created exclusively for the Yoda Chronicles. He exists nowhere else in Star Wars canon. What gets him on this list is what's hiding under that helmet, a full facial expression that adds real personality to a figure most people walk right past. Add the exclusive Translite arm, a piece LEGO has basically never used anywhere else, and you've got one of the most quietly unique figs on this entire list. Slept on badly. Now we're getting into elite territory, the Scarif Stormtrooper aka the Shore Trooper. First introduced into Rogue One and LEGO wasted no time going all in on these guys. This base variant alone is already excellent, especially those leg prints with the ammo bag detail. LEGO was completely dialed in. But this is just the beginning because they didn't stop here. Hot take incoming and I'm standing by it. I actually prefer the Sand Trooper Squad Leader over the newer dual molded helmet versions. The visor printing is crispier, the sand weathering has more grit and texture, and then you've got the orange pauldron and one of the most detailed backpacks LEGO has ever put on a trooper fig. And honestly, the dual molded helmets look completely out of proportion with the body. Bigger isn't always better, and on these guys, it just doesn't work. The older approach nailed the minifigure in a way the newer version never quite managed. From one menacing trooper to the most menacing trooper in all of Star Wars, the Imperial Death Trooper Specialist. These guys are terrifying in Rogue One and LEGO absolutely nailed it. All black armor, excellent prints, and one of the most intimidating helmet designs they've ever put on a Star Wars fig. Looks exactly like it does on screen. Next up, the Shore Trooper Captain. Similar foundation to the base variant, but the rank markings are more prominent and the chest print work is noticeably more complex. It carries a presence their standard version just doesn't have, a clear step up. And the best of the three, the Shore Trooper Squad Leader. Think about it, at the time LEGO took a unit that only appeared in Rogue One with maybe 2 minutes of total screen time and came back with 3 distinct individually excellent variants, each one a step up from the last. And the Squad Leader is where it all peaks. Best prints of the 3, and it comes with a common cloth, something LEGO barely produces anymore. The complete package, worth every penny. Pivoting to something completely different, the Ithorian Jedi Master Nogeta. Another LEGO original from the Yoda Chronicles. And LEGO really committed here. Intricate, detailed, and unlike anything else in the Star Wars lineup. It's a reminder of how much effort LEGO used to pour into their original characters. Here's one with a wild backstory, Poggle the Lesser. Did you know this guy started the designs for the Death Star? One of the most consequential figures in galactic history, and his reward? Getting cut in half, just like that. Anyway, the wings are done about as well as LEGO could have pulled off, and the head mold is genuinely impressive for a character most people couldn't name. Now everyone knows General Grievous, but not everyone knows that the Clone Wars variant is the only one that actually looks accurate, and that's what puts it here.
General Kenobi!
And let's not forget how effectively he puts all 4 arms to use. Of all the General Grievous variants, this is the one. It's not even close. From one powerhouse to another wrecker, the clone on steroids. This guy's massive. He fights Rancor for fun. The helmet design is fantastic, and I love that LEGO gave him extra armor to match the character's sheer size. Easily the standout fig in the entire Bad Batch lineup. And rounding out the Bad Batch duo, Tech, the geek of the squad. This one comes with an incredibly detailed backpack and a unique helmet mold that perfectly captures his look. A sleeper fig that doesn't get nearly enough credit. Now we're into serious territory, Darth Malak, Darth Revan's apprentice. And here's a detail that always gets people, that metal jaw. His own master sliced it off during a confrontation. Imagine that. This is the first and only Darth Malak minifigure LEGO has ever made, and it absolutely delivers. The head detailing in particular is exceptional. For a character this deep in the lore, LEGO showed up. And right behind him, Ambo, one of the most legendary bounty hunters in all of the Clone Wars. Basically the Captain America of Star Wars, can't die, uses his hat as a shield, and looks cooler than almost everyone else in the room. Excellent prints, a top tier helmet, and the fact that this is a 2011 minifigure makes it even more impressive. A fig that has absolutely no business being this good for the price. Alright, top 3, and these genuinely deserve every spot. Coming in at number 3, Jedi Vader. Released as LEGO nod to Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, an alternate universe where Vader walked the Jedi path instead. The concept alone turns head, but the execution backs it up. White and gold color scheme, sharp printing, and one of the most distinctive figs LEGO has released in years. The kind of figure that makes you stop and say, wait, what is that? In second place, Saw Gerrera. Introduced in the Clone Wars, he survived all the way to Rogue One. Though by then the war had taken almost everything from him. His extremism wasn't born from cruelty. It was forged by personal loss, betrayal, and a belief that the mainstream rebellion was simply too soft to win. Complicated guy, great character. And the minifigure matches that complexity completely. The breastplate detail alone is some of LEGO's finest work on any Star Wars fig. But strip it away, the torso print, the leg detail, the exclusive cape, every single layer holds up. One of the most complete minifigures LEGO has ever made. And at number 1, ARC Trooper Hammer. This is a 2012 minifigure. Let that sink in. The unique helmet design, the incredible prints, the Kama and Pulsion cloth, pieces LEGO barely produces anymore. They poured elite level detail into a character who appears on screen for maybe a few seconds in the Clone Wars. So briefly that LEGO didn't even give him a name. It was fans who later identified him and dubbed him Hammer. And somehow this unnamed background character from 14 years ago still outclasses most of what LEGO has released in the last decade. How does a $31 figure beat nearly everything that came after it? Either LEGO was at its absolute peak, or it's proof they've been moving backward ever since. Number 1, no debate. And that's a list, the best LEGO Star Wars minifigures under $40 that actually belong in your collection. Drop a comment and tell me, would you have ranked them differently? And if so, how? If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.